So again, free speech.
Yes.
A nation that claims free speech, and yet we sanction somebody, we punish somebody for their
Yeah.
speech, not
Yeah.
even for an act that they are doing per se. It's not like
Yeah.
she's going out and attacking,
No, yeah, she's not
Israel.
committing genocide.
No. She's
Not at
not
all.
doing horrible things to children and,
Right.
an entire group of people. Welcome to another episode of the Bloomburg Democrat. I'm Sally Taylor. This is my discerning younger brother, John Daniels. We're back. I've been on vacation
Back.
and then
Yeah.
I've recuperated from vacation. And we're ready to kind of look at the news of the day again. And John, you brought up this current topic and some of the details around it, although it's been an ongoing thing for sure.
Yeah.
In this current administration, the hypocrisy of screaming that they do not receive free speech and yet seemingly are squashing free speech against
Yes.
anything that does not support their viewpoint.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Claiming lack of or infringement upon their First Amendment rights while infringing upon others.
Upon others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty
Exactly.
much classic fascist regime type behavior, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Or it's
So,
just even just politics in
well,
general.
true.
Yeah.
Politics in general, I will grant you that as well. And
Yeah.
certainly, I will say the Democrats have been guilty of some of that behavior as well.
Yeah, sure.
Um, but it is up to all of us to continue to work to maintain freedom of speech because it
Yeah.
slips away so easily.
Right.
And so there's a couple of examples that you had sent me, and I'd like for you to expound
Mhm.
upon them just a little bit if you can. Um, One, you gave me an article about a woman who has been speaking on very publicly on the atrocities that have
Mhm.
been occurring in Gaza.
Mhm.
And she then, because of those articles that she wrote or the speech that she has had sanctions put on her to the
Right.
point that she's not able to use a credit card,
Yeah.
or I would assume any kind of digital like debit card currency. Is that correct?
I think it just depends on if it goes through American banks or not, right?
Okay.
Because it's the US that have imposed sanctions on her personally.
Personally. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not even her husband or her daughter. And so they've even carved out a couple of exceptions for like if she's buying her daughter a birthday present or something or
How do
things.
they keep track of that?
I don't know. Statements. I don't know. I don't know. How do you how do you just sanction one single person
Person.
who's not involved with doing anything other than speaking their mind freely?
Yeah.
How do you do that? Who sanctions and who oversees that to make sure that it's not done improperly? And where's the law involved in any of this? Like it seems like something
Arbitrary.
that the CIA would do to a spy back in the Cold War or something. I don't.
Well,
It's
exactly.
weird.
And there's so many people who speak out against exactly those things. Like, I can
Yeah.
speak out against the atrocities in Gaza. Doesn't make me anti Semitic, right?
Right.
It doesn't
Right.
make me, you know, but I still know an atrocity when I see one,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
And
Yes. And so one of the things in the article, this lady's name was what was it again? I want to just repeat it if I can remember. I think her last name
sure.
was Albanese.
Francesca Albanese,
Yeah,
UN
Francesca.
Special Rapporteur. on Palestinian human rights.
In this article that she mentions that some of the horrible things that have been happening, and there was a I think a man who was being forced to he was being forced to do something as the Israeli soldiers were putting out their cigarettes on his toddler's leg, right? Like this is this is horrible. So if this is true, and of course nobody would respond to the article's reporter regarding this, none of the Israeli sources. Like if this is true, then this is just a horrible, horrible thing. Like that's clearly an atrocity. And so,
Clearly.
yes, calling a spade is certainly nothing to be sanctioned over. But again, I'm while I'm happy with sanctions in certain situations, right? Like a lot of the Russian oligarchs that are being sanctioned due to the war in Ukraine, I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of now that I'm hearing about this other lady, I'm thinking, okay, but let's do it with some rules. Like let's make sure there's a law, and let's do it only when it's correct and it needs to be done. This lady is not in the same ballpark as the Russian oligarchs, right?
By any stretch,
No.
no. And she's an individual who works for the UN and
Yeah.
is just saying, is just reporting on what is occurring.
Yeah.
Uh, why she has been basically punished for doing her job and doing it
Yeah.
well
Hmm.
by the United States specifically. It is the
Yeah.
US that
Yeah.
decided to put sanctions on her.
Right.
No
Right.
other countries have said,
Right.
oh, what she is doing is wrong. We can't allow this. It's
Right.
the United States specifically.
Yeah. And it's just insane. No, personally, I don't like credit cards. I have a debit card, so I'm using my own money when I use it, but that does allow me to, make purchases online a lot more easily. But I don't have any credit cards and I don't want any because who wants to be into debt? So like I guess if they were to sanction me, I really would not bat an eye about it, I guess, because I live in Japan. Everything's in cash. And
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't need credit. But if you're not in this type of a situation, like I can imagine it can make your life a little bit more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like in the United
Well,
States,
it would
everybody's in
impact
debt.
me heavily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not debt for me. It
Mm.
is the fact that I never carry cash,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so everything is through either a debit card or a credit card. All
Yeah.
my online subscriptions and those kinds of things are paid with a credit card.
Yeah.
All my immediate purchases are typically purchased with a debit card, and I just
Hmm.
don't carry cash that much anymore.
Yeah.
And so if it squashed those things, I would, and also I bank online. I don't have a brick and mortar
Hmm.
bank that I can go to get
Mm.
cash.
Yeah.
And so it would completely upend me, to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
if I was not able to continue to work that way because I don't have
Yeah.
access to a bank.
Makes you think if maybe you should make some changes, huh?
It does make me wonder. But see,
Yeah.
I've loved my
You
bank.
can
I
apparently
think
be
it's,
cut off from your money very easily.
yeah. I mean, I still have the bank that our father used because he was in the
Uh-huh.
military, and I was, they have treated me very well,
Yeah.
and I have just used that bank for years and years and years. And
Fair
as
enough.
everything went online, that was very easy to do.
Right.
Um, it's been decades, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it does make me stop and wonder. At the very least, should I have cash?
A
I'm not,
little
not that
cash.
I want to tell people that I've got cash in my
Right.
house, but should I have cash stored somewhere?
Right.
Right? Maybe not in my
Even
house, but
a
maybe
safe deposit box or
safe
something.
deposit box or something. Yes,
You have a key
exactly.
that you go and physically
Right.
remove it. Yeah.
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 It might be a good
Yeah.
idea, huh?
Yeah. So again, free speech.
Yes.
A nation that claims free speech, and yet we sanction somebody, we punish somebody for their
Yeah.
speech, not
Yeah.
even for an act that they are doing per se. It's not like
Yeah.
she's going out and attacking
No, yeah, she's not
Israel.
committing genocide.
No. He's
Not at
not
all.
doing horrible things to children and,
Right.
an entire group of people. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was one instance, and I hope that she finds some kind of relief from this. I don't know what's being done on her behalf, but I hope she does find some relief.
Yeah.
Another article that you brought up
Hmm.
is a woman in Tennessee who's a
Yeah.
librarian
Right.
who had been ordered to move children's books that included characters that were LGBTQ or topics that
Hmm.
were LGBTQ related to move those books to the adult section.
Right.
And she refused
Yeah.
because she was doing her job as a
Right.
librarian.
Right. And this is
And
protected as free speech.
free speech, right? The books that
The
were
writing.
there should
Yeah.
fall under free speech, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was fired
Yeah.
for holding that stance. Um,
Tennessee, that bastion of freedom.
I tell you what, sometimes I've thought about moving to Tennessee, but
Yeah.
that's the thing that keeps me from doing it.
I've got
How
a very good
deeply
friend
red and backwards Tennessee still
that
is.
just moved back to Tennessee. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
It's a beautiful state.
Yes, it
Like I said,
is.
there are
It
lots of
definitely
reasons
is.
it might be nice to live there, except for their
Yeah.
politics are backwards. Georgia's not a lot better, but it's a little better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I
There's
want
a,
to go where it's worse.
I think it might be a relatively recent change, though, that made Georgia better. Because I
But
seem to remember Georgia not being the
Georgia,
best of the best.
Georgia is a purple state at this point.
Yeah.
Georgia's a purple state. It has flip-flopped
Uh-huh.
between red and blue with
Yeah.
regard to its, top of the ticket type elections,
Uh-huh.
senators and presidents and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So right now we've got two Democratic senators,
Hmm.
and they both are doing a great job. So let's hope we can keep them for a little while.
Yeah.
And they did vote for Biden, for his one term.
Hmm.
So, and I live in a blue county, theoretically. I mean, it's quite close, right? But it's
Hmm.
theoretically a blue county.
Hmm.
So it is better.
That's good.
However, why are we firing librarians?
Should not be firing librarians over keeping children's books in the children's area. That's for sure. That's
No,
crazy. Yes,
yeah,
and so I had read this just slightly after reading about the Supreme Court decision to strike down the ban of gay conversion therapy in, I
right.
believe, Colorado.
Colorado.
No, no,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yes.
yeah, so that's just insane to me. How they did this based on the free speech rights of the people who,
Therapist.
yeah, the therapists, thank you.
The professionals.
What, yeah. And I'm not sure
Yeah.
these people qualify as professionals.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, John, because the medical community has
Hmm.
stated that
Hmm.
conversion therapy is harmful.
Yes,
And the first thing with any medical, oath you take is to do no harm.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
yet, conversion therapy means about a 50% increase in the risk for suicide for these
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
for individuals.
Yeah.
As they're not
So
all children,
so
but
they
most of them are.
struck down this ban on free speech rights of the people trying to make money off of other people. And but then this librarian who's just trying to protect the sanctity of free education is fired. It's ridiculous. What about
Yeah.
this person's free speech rights?
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you, John. The thing is, and we talked about this a little bit before, and it's slightly separate from the free speech topic itself, but for me, I really do see it as a real crackdown on trying to ignore the fact that LGBTQ people exist in our world.
Right, right,
right?
right, right, right.
I mean, it's dehumanizing.
Yeah.
It's a refusal to allow people to live their own lives and an
Yeah.
insistence that they must live the life that you approve of, you
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. It's very religious.
It's very
Isn't it?
religious. Yeah, religious but not spiritual. I'll put it that way.
Right, exactly, exactly. It's not spiritual, I would say, but it's
No,
very religious. The concept that you get to decide how other people should live their lives is just
yeah,
insane.
yeah. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And with regard to the Supreme Court decision on the Colorado ban, it's it goes against science. It goes against
Hmm.
medicine.
Hmm.
And they're saying it is okay to harm people in an effort to undo who they actually are.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that is 10 steps backwards in my
Hmm.
mind
Yeah.
on any kind of equality in this nation.
Yeah. Equality is a really simple concept. Everyone's the same, right? The same rights, the same opportunities. Like that's what it is. It's really easy. Just stop being jerks to people who aren't like you and just let them be, right? But we have a hard time to stop ourselves from being jerks to people who aren't just like us.
Yeah.
It's sad. Why is it humans are like that? Why are we
Well,
such jerks to each other?
we have we have our moments of improvement, right? Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had a ban on conversion therapy in Colorado
Yes,
for a time,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
we do
Some,
make steps forward. But
yeah,
what creates all of the backlash and the steps backward when what's actually
yeah.
occurring is progress?
Yes. And I guess it's fear, right? It's fear, and fear comes from ignorance. It's you're afraid of things that you don't know and don't understand, and that's why monsters are scary, right? But um, but it's also why we're afraid of people who we just don't know. Stranger danger, for one,
Yeah.
which is something that's not always wrong, but
It's also
maybe
not
we
always
should,
right.
yeah, maybe we should frame it differently than just people you don't know are dangerous. But
Yeah. Well, and yet again, we've got I'll say a faction of our society, and part of that is our current leadership in government that needs an other to
yeah,
make the boogeyman, to make the monster. And
yeah,
so they're going after people of color, they're going after LGBTQ, they're
right,
going after any tiny weak group
yeah.
that they
They need,
can.
yeah. There's always got to be a scapegoat for
Yeah.
these hateful groups. Like they just want to, they got to have somebody to blame. I guess maybe that's just an easy solution, right? It's the
I would claim
like
it's an easy
if you can just
distraction.
maybe it's a yeah, well,
And
yes, yes. I don't mean it's a real solution, but it's an easy
sure.
solution in the mind of the people who are thinking it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's I'm having all these problems in my life, and it can't be me, and it can't be the people that I like a lot. So it's got to be somebody else. And so who is it? It's these people who I don't like, of course,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. I always go back to where the power is.
Yeah,
And it's beneficial for the people in power to have somebody else to point to as the problem
yeah,
rather than to themselves, right?
right. Especially if they
Uh,
keep screwing things up,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
I
Or if you've, molested children, or if you're starting a war, or if you're, doing
yeah,
any other number of things.
yeah,
It's easier to have somebody else that you can point to be the enemy,
hmm,
to distract from those other things.
yeah,
Trump gave a speech last night. I refuse to watch anything he does in real time.
yeah. I haven't
But
gotten around to it.
he was
I
he
don't
was
know if I will.
essentially talking about the war in Iran, and
Mm,
I think like I said, I haven't watched it yet. I think he basically says he's winding it down, but it's not over yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
My
we still
coworker, I
don't
think,
know.
saw it, and he said that Trump just keeps saying whatever random thing pops into his head, and nobody's believing him.
Yeah. Well, I did hear that the markets definitely took a downturn after that
Oh, did they?
speech. So
Oh,
yeah,
because
it apparently did not make anybody happy.
I heard
Um,
that they went up really, really like a lot. At least Dow like went up 1,000 points or something in a single day, and nobody could quite understand why.
oh, well, there was a couple of days ago where he had said something about getting out and it bumped up, and then he turned around and
Hmm.
said the opposite and it dropped again. So, markets don't like uncertainty, and
Yeah,
there's nothing but uncertainty with this
yes, that's
administration.
for
You
sure.
just never really know what's going
Well,
on.
see, I've been thinking lately because he's very anti-green energy, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Removing all the subsidies that are on the new technologies and things,
Right.
and trying to go back to fossil fuels and actively trying to injure uh, solar and wind and things. And but then he goes and he invades Iran, and now the price of oil has doubled or tripled in some places. And
Which
I,
makes all this green energy look so much more appealing.
it's really making a lot of people buy like electric vehicles and these types of things.
Right.
And I think it would be just a wonderful twist of irony and fate if he ends up becoming like the greatest president for the environment,
Yeah.
simply because he has screwed up everything he has ever tried to in his efforts to destroy the environment.
Yeah. No, John, actually, I absolutely agree with what you're saying. And I've kind of been saying the same thing for a while. He is the great disruptor, he's the great destroyer. And
Yeah.
yes, it's going to be scary and painful while it happens, but we are going
Mm.
to have a chance once he's out of there to
Yeah.
build back better, to
Chisel
do
his
a
name
better
off of
job the
everything.
second time around. Yeah, get his name off of everything,
Print our
rebuild the
money
West Wing
back
in
again.
whatever way we're going to do.
Exactly. Somebody's
um,
going to have a big job, and it's
yeah.
just going to have to be damage control for a little while. But
Yeah. I think we can do better than we did the first time for all the stuff that he is just collapsing,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
So my hope is that the world is waking up a bit because they see so much contrast
yeah,
with him. They say, oh
yeah,
my gosh, we don't want that. How did
yeah.
we get here? And they'll
Right.
fix it so we can't do that again.
Yeah, let's hope. That'll be nice.
All right, brother. Till next time.
Yeah. Good night.
If you enjoyed this content, please hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.